Hey there, everybody. How are you doing? It's Thursday, and normally we throw cards on. Actually, we already did throw cards over on the Soul Bard Collective already, but Frey's requiring us to do a little bit of that over here. So let's get ourselves into a startup pattern, and I'll see you all here in just a little bit. Let's throw some cards. All right. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? How you doing? My name's Jenna O'Malley. I'm your soul writer, author of sci-fi fantasy with dashes of romance and nerdy references, such as the Mern Annals. He's that way, isn't he? You're that way, aren't you? Yes, you are. We're going to hang out with Frey again tonight. So just a little bit of a heads up and a context for this. Thank you to Mama Maggie, Penumbra Mine, and Mom Ward for inspiring me to do tarot cards and writing together. This is the first video of many I think Mama Maggie has done on the same topic, and it's actually because of Mama Maggie that I'm going to be using this as my primary reference material outside of my cards tonight. If you're curious about tarot for writers, and actually, I'm sorry, Frey, dude, I'm just going to have to cover your lovely face up. Anyway, if you're curious about tarot for writers, this is the link that you could go ahead and take in to get your own copy. Or if you're on the replay, it's in the description box. Also, a perfect old standby, The Complete Guide to Tarot by Eden Gray is also going to be linked there and in the description box. And since it's finally back up for purchase, and I'm probably buying a second copy of this deck because I love the back. It's very simple. You can also actually now buy the tarot deck I have. It's been out of stock for a while, and I use this tarot deck predominantly just for live stream related things, writing on occasion included. So let's go ahead and see who all is in here tonight. All those links, like I said, are in the description box. Ow, that was my elbow. Anyway, if you want to go ahead and drop any questions, please feel welcome to do so as we go along. Hello there, Kay. It's good to see you. I hope you're doing really well, my friend. I hope you're doing really well. If you would like to substitute out an affirmation deck or an oracle deck, you can use them to do this writing too. Just saying, just saying. So I'm going to pull up off to the side here and can, thank you. Like I said, there's a case that matches this design now. I'm so happy. It's very simplistic. I have other decks that are not, but all the more what I love about writing with these cards is they have some info already on them. Gives you what the upright means and the reversal, or an interpretation of based on the classical Rider-Waite decks. And it includes what chakra it relates to, what number, element, if it's a yes, no, maybe, and then star signs, moon signs, and more. I love these cards. Frey, to give you a little bit of a background on, I'm glad you do. You just got a new one. I'm so glad you're loving on it so much. A little bit quick background here on Frey. He throws tarot too. He actually acquires a couple of tarot decks of his own by the end of book 3, and he's a portal hopping, realm walking, astral dream weaving, jack of all trades mage sorcerer thing. I watched way too much Doctor Strange while I was writing book 3, apparently, and it affected me. Anyway, so I wanted to, for Frey's standalone spinoff, 6 weeks, but 3 years. I said it's only appropriate that I finish the plotting I already started in OneNote with tarot cards. So I'm going to go ahead and double check a couple comments one last time, and we're going to recap what I did previously and then give you a couple of examples of card throwing and building the plot with. So I had, let's see. Sam, you think you might have too, this is like pens and washi tape and stickers. There's no such thing as too many tarot decks, sweetheart. I have 2 tarot decks waiting for Kay. Why I didn't give them to you when you were sitting in this very room, I do not know. I actually have 2 tarot decks sitting here for you that I'm regifting. But yeah, this is kind of like a dragon hoarder type thing for some of us. I used to say that a love of stickers and washi tape and pens was a prerequisite to be a teacher. I realize it's the same thing to do what I do as an author, and I just added in crystals and decks apparently. I would definitely say my decks have their purpose. Like some decks I will only use for myself, and I have a pair, a light and a dark, same design ones. They're opposite from each other for a reason, light and dark. And I use them personally, but I've got other ones that I'll just randomly use for people. So yay. So when I see you next, don't let me forget, because I probably will forget. All right, so a recap of what was hanging over on the wall. Heads up, the vlog coming out next week with Neftiri and the end of the Pentology draft on Ream Stories is going to be the last time you see or saw all this on that wall, because I took it down. I'm going to do a meta series wall update again here soon. Writing books and planners, and this goes with not just taking them but making them, apparently. Kay, just saying, so many courses. I feel swamped again. Like I'm in so many. I'm in the Ream Stories, and I'm in Sarah's, and I'm in Mel's, and I'm doing mine, and I'm taking this, and I'm in that, I'm in ba and a baha. Feels like college all over again, doesn't it? Anyway, wall notes from Meta Outline. I'm going to be looking at my offside screen here just because bad eyes, bigger text. So I made it up to chapter 8 on my outline with the work we did last time and with moving over what I had on the wall already. So I didn't realize when I first wrote this that it is phrase standalone, but we have, I don't know if I'm going to write it all in his POV or if his fallen angel, Ezekiel, is going to take over a couple of chapters. I don't know how I feel about that. I really wanted this to be solo, only phrase point of view. So I'm going to let kind of what the cards roll with tonight be part of what guides me in that decision-making process just a tiny bit by the end of it. My hope is to make this the shortest book I've ever written. I kid you not. All of my novels normally have over 40 chapters and over 60,000 words. I'm hoping to keep this to a tight 30 chapters, 50K. It's not going to be easy. We will see how it happens. It's a spin-off. That's all it needs to be. So I'm already mostly through plotting out all of Act 1. It has all of the connecting points from book 1 and 2 established that need to be there, because kind of the concept of this is, spoilers to those who are reading book 2, Bound by Oath and Heart. There's something that happens that Frey has a visceral, emotional, I'm done level reaction to. And his fallen angel, basically to the tune of Nightcrawler bamfing to another realm, unfortunately they get stuck there. Like, Ezekiel kind of knows what's going on, but the abort mission tactic caused them both to have some temporary issues with trying to get back to this realm. In book 2, Frey's gone for 6 weeks. the title of the book says he's really gone 3 years. So in that realm, it's 3 years of his life is gone, but 6 weeks of everybody like Ian, Vovary, Neftiri. It's 6 weeks to them. It's 3 weeks or 3 years to Frey. You get what I mean? So I have all of those connecting ties in here of which characters show up from the main line. Now I need to be cognizant of the fact that this is kind of a bridge book. It sets up a spiral to cause a spin-off series of mine, Betalangica, and threads from season 2, which I'm going to be starting to plot here at the end of the summer for the Myrna Annals, also need to be set up. There's teeny tiny little, if you read this as an entry point into the series, you're going to want to probably pick, do I read season 1 first or season 2? And it would be your choice, kind of. And this book came out of an observation of many beta readers to say, if this is going to be a long series, you need to plot multiple entry points for your readers to gain new readership or for old people to pick back up with you that isn't the main line. So that's kind of really why I'm leaning into getting this book plotted, written, and done ASAP, because it's also part of the Kickstarter. I don't think it's going to take me nearly as long. It takes me about 2 months to write the bigger books. It should take me a proper NaNoWriMo, Camp NaNoWriMo kind of month to finish it out. So we shall see. We shall see. So Frey's dealing with memory issues. Where we leave off in chapter 8, they just picked up another side quest from a little girl, and Ezekiel finds Frey fighting with 2 males who basically are going to be described to look like Frey's brothers in arms, Ian and Vovary. He's kind of like fighting a mirror or a Shadow Link version of them, if you Zelda fans get that reference. So I'm going to let the cards decide, and I'm literally going to pull up to chapter 20. So I think that's 11 cards. So it'll pull all of Act 2. Whatever it pulls it in is what my notes will be, and I will welcome jumpers, and whatever position they land in is going to be the position they land in. Welcome to the Shadow Zone, zone. One of my character inspirations, other than Doctor Strange, obviously, since I dropped that earlier, for Frey is a character. Whoops, I didn't see that. I'll pretend I didn't see that. It's a character from Final Fantasy VII named Vincent Valentine. So if you played a little game called Dirge of Cerberus, a lot of the themes from that game influenced this. And I am very, very upset that they took Vincent out of Final Fantasy VII. They better give me a new Dirge. Oh, I want to play a new Dirge of Cerberus so badly. Fangirl mode, calm down. Focus Fox, Jenna. Anyway, so let's get a couple quicker cards here. I didn't see that. I saw that. That's a good card to know that's in the making. Some of the cards I'm seeing pop up, I'm like, that chapter's not going to go the way I want it to go. All right. We'll take that one because I did see that is the card I saw. That makes it 6. Seven. I can tell my hands are getting tired because we threw cards earlier and they're starting to cramp just a wee bit. 8. Oh, that one stuck in my hand. 9. 2 more, please, and thank you. 1 more, please, and whoa. That's where we're headed. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. We got the Fool for card number 11. Seriously, Frey? Seriously? Okay. So starting off with Page of Swords. Okay. From this moment, I will note what the card is, position it's in, and then any notes from the card that are important first. So in this card, we've got root chakra, earth of air. Ooh. Earth of air, that makes sense. Weirdly enough. Vovry's an earth elemental. In his spell weaving, Ian's a wind hurricane elemental. That's weird. That's on point. Libra, Aquarius, they deal with balance. Mental agility, fairness, inspiration, confidence. So mental agility. I can't type apparently. Chatty, witty, new ideas. Yes, ma'am. And then I'll go into Tarot for Writers next and see what specifically is mentioned of that card. So we are at Two of Swords. And I'll go to full screen and show you guys the pages. If you've never seen the inside of this, it's an awesome reference guide. But at the same time, I love that they leave enough room to where you could take your own notes here. One thing I hope to, because in my opinion, it's a textbook, write in it. Yes, I'm that person. Anyway, I eventually will probably take all of the notes that are on the card and slap them over on that side of my handwriting. And that way it's all on one page in the future. So that way I can have it to go or the full textbook. So the notes from here. What does it suggest? Tough choices, for sure. Reconciliation, limited vision. Ooh, I like that one. Two of Swords. Goodness, Page of Swords, Jenna. Like, that's not right. You can tell I haven't had enough caffeine this afternoon. When? Okay. Let's try Page of Swords, Jenna. But you can still see where that would apply, where I would have room to leave notes. This. That and his voice actor's just Mary's balls. Anyway, I want another Shadow of the Colossus. Please? Please. I want them to finish it. Because you know they're not done. So for this one, the sky is the limit. That's still appropriate. That's still appropriate. Because with this card, even in the background, they're focusing on the sky. Not on their background, but like the info background. Airmail. Ooh. Okay. Key symbols. Airmail. During the Renaissance, pages were the youngest members of the royal court. Ooh. It was their job to take news from one person to another. Because of the Suit of Swords is concerned with the intellectual life, the airy Page of Swords specializes in delivering intellectual messages. So very, 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 very mercurial in that way. It always surprises me that this is a Libra and an Aquarius card, not a Virgo card for that reason. So fast-moving energy, fast-moving intellect. New information gained on quest from ooh, there's two land types in there, the earth and air, reminding from entities that are either celestial, air, or fallen angel, earth. That would pull that back around another time for me and connect it back into the inspiration of the card. 3 coffees today, my goodness. See, I woke up 2 hours late this morning and I felt behind all day, and I think all of us are feeling it. It's the 6/6 portal, new moon in Gemini. Not surprised. Speaking of the next card, this card, the Hierophant. So we're literally going to go from the Page of Swords to the Hierophant with Frey. This is going to be religious beliefs, conventionality, spiritual wisdom, knowledge sharing. So that new information, what are they doing with it? Okay. I always spell that word wrong. Hierophant. What are they doing with the new information? I know a lot about this card in one context. The Hierophant is to represent the Pope. Symbolically, they even hold their one hand similar to the Pope in some reiterations, and they wear the Pope's crown shape. And that's probably not making it any good for you all if you have the humidity we have today too. But it's not just about religious beliefs. Think about the Pope. They're normally the one at the front of the pulpit. This is why I was glad to see another card pop up shortly after, believe it or not. Not the Empress. Two chapters later is the wife to the Hierophant, the High Priestess. She's like, in the Catholic Church, it'd be like the nuns versus the fathers or the brothers, monks. The nuns like to go out and usually be among the people. They're very high priestessy. You seek them out. At least the nuns I grew up with were like that. So I'm very glad to have gotten a glimpse when I flipped the cards that was ahead. So that way we get balance. I'm going to play on the fact that Frey is part of a male-male relationship in the making, though. So I'm going to probably connect this back to relationship forming with Lee in this chapter. And then also give note, connect back again in chapter 12. Okay? Because Frey is freaking out about one person. Lee. Where's Lee? Where's Lee at this point? So it's a setup. It's a seed. We've planted it early in the beginning of Act 2 because this would be about the first or second chapter of Act 2 for me. So good time to make sure, oh, wait a minute. There's what happened to Lee? What happened to Lee should be coming in by now with all the other issues going on. I'm not going to be dipping into this one or that one because I don't need them. You see how for some moments I'm going to need to go deeper. Other moments I'm not going to need to. And I just like to have the reference material on standby as we continue to tread through. So as far as giving a glimpse back here, again, I'm just making the notes. What card did I get? What info am I using? And I have a pattern of where I pull it from. Then I just connect it to the plot. I'm not a strict plotter anymore. Notice how if I scroll in, a little more here. There we go. A lot of my notes are really just, they're not, this person goes here and does this. I used to plot like that, which is why book 1 was 125,000 words. The first time I finished the first manuscript on it. I'm a voracious overwriter. So if you are an overwriter, I'm going to ask you, are you also an overplotter? I became not so much an overwriter when I started underplotting. I forced myself to train myself more into plant sting. To me, this is more a form of plant sting because I basically said, okay, here's all the stores you guys need to shop at today. Go enjoy. I let them figure out the most of it on their own once we start the journey. If you add too much to your plot, correct. This is the other issue I think that a lot of not just new writers will do, but a lot of writers who have been in the field ourselves for a while will start to notice those patterns of what is and is not working for you. You might change your process and your pattern 20, 30, 40, 50 times by the time you are done, however long your writing career is comparatively. That's okay. That's why I like pulling out these kind of reference materials and whatnot, because it keeps that process a little bit different and a little bit fresh. And it also lets me open my brain up to new ideas that I may not have also foreseen. I say this as somebody who tends to write romance love stories with couples in most of my books. You want to avoid repeating the same 2-3 pairs of couples on repeat, but they just look different. I think this is why a lot of historical and contemporary romance authors have like 10 to 20 really good books. And then after that, people start realizing, wait a minute, this seems like XYZ's dating XYZ. You see what I mean? You all know, you could probably list 40 different authors that people feel this way about. So I think pulling out tools like this help to, they're intentional interrupts. Coach of mine, Matt Schaefer, would call them patterned interrupts. You're doing them to yourself on purpose so that you are not rinse, washing, repeating your creative cycle to your detriment, if that makes sense. So I'm not going to make you all sit through multiple hours of me taking a ton of notes. I gave you a couple examples. So if you have any questions, let me know. I do want to peek ahead and see what the other cards are. Just out of curiosity, we have Empress up after that. So Divine Feminine. You notice how it went to the High Priestess? That makes total sense. And then we're going to build in more about the relationship with Lee not being complete yet. That makes total sense. That was kind of needed. Thank you, cards, for falling that way, because unlike my dad, I'm not smart enough to stack a deck. Page of Wands came up right after that. So this would be chapter 13. This would be chapter 13, Imagination, Inspiration. Probably going to pull on that Leo energy, and it even says eye opener. This is where I'm probably going to have a good hard check on my muddy middle not starting. That's a good note, that eye opener. I need something there, a catalyst of some sort in chapter 13. And that's going to be my reminder card to do it. So I like it when that happens. I like it. Does not always happen that way. Because what? The muddy middle is not going to exist. 5 of Cups. We're going to upset Frey's wagon. Normally, the cards that have green liquid coming out of them indicate poison. So we could address his addictions big time in this chapter. That would be a good signal to go that way. He's going to get told no about something in that chapter too. That would be chapter, let's see, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, God. Lovers in reverse. Lovers does not always mean a romantic relationship's going to come into conflict. There's Frey's dealing with mirror images of his beloveds. So this could be a mom chapter. Neftiri could show up in this chapter since it's upside down and mom likes to Rafiki son on the head, because it says danger of a broken marriage, bad choices, disharmony, self-love should be the focus. So maybe this would be a good time for Neftiri to step in with a voice of reason. Hey, love yourself first, then you can love Lee. Now, mind you, anything that the characters that are mirror shadow link images of the people we know in the main line, they don't talk. It's advice that Frey would assume they would give him anyway, is kind of what he would describe it as being if you were to ask him. And I've asked him. So the next chapter is going to be the Knight of Swords. Big changes. Yeah, that's going to be the end of the muddy middle right there. It's going to be a good reminder to double check back through the plot line and tighten it up. Tenacity, accomplishment, determination. He needs to have a win. We just had a loss. You need to always back that up with a win. Your readers and your characters need some minimal amount of justifiable reward amidst all the conflict. I do agree that every single chapter needs some thread of conflict in it that helps to feed character motivation or demotivation and ultimately the plot. But you need to balance it out. Whenever you're having a lot of heavy, you need to, like a good roller coaster, plateau it out a little bit, bank a curve, let your audience catch a breath, and then move on. Can that breath still have conflict? There's still G-forces in that curve, y'all. There's still G-forces in that curve, okay? Normally in the curves, when your face is like, ah! Anyway, so you're still getting a chance to get a breath. Ooh, ow. Justice. Uptight. But this is where transparency comes in, okay? This would definitely pull all the way back to what happened in chapter 11 and chapter 13. Why would I say that? Looking at these cards, they all have columns. They all have seated figures. So this would also be a good what's interconnecting, what themes are unresolved. This is why I love using the tarot decks, because you can use their wording as a checks and balance for yourself. They tell the story of the fool, literally. I like to say it's also the hero's journey, the heroine's journey, fool's journey. They're learning a lesson. So what's the last two lessons in Act 2? We ended on the fool. Appropriate. Sets you up for Act 3. But before you get there, you got to find some direction and confidence. You can have a fool who has a little bit of confidence. Maybe not the correct kind. But it's a new beginning. I mean, if I were to have a Lord of the Rings deck, I would throw Bilbo Baggins running off to go join everybody. You get what I mean? Like, I wouldn't even put Frodo as the fool card. I would give it to Bilbo because Bilbo is a reluctant fool. Frodo in a different way. So there's that idealistic life. Maybe it's not a good kind of direction, though. So definitely take a moment and look at the story that the cards are telling you. Take some notes. If it works, so be it. If it doesn't, throw the card back in. No one's going to know. No one's going to know. No one's going to know. As the meme-ish short and reel does say, right? Right. So, thank you all for sitting with me a little bit for a kind of a demonstration. I don't want to spoil the whole plot, but most of Act 2 in 10 cards. Yeah, I'll write all my notes, shuffle those cards back in, and guess what? If it shows up again in Act 3, I'm probably going to cycle back around and say, did we finish this up or not? Or is it restarting again? So if you have any questions live or on the replay, let me know. Otherwise, everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with me and that guy over that way a little bit. Please do take the time to hang out with us over on Reen Stories, link in the description box, or check out the Kickstarter that launches here in a month and 2 days. I can't believe it. So thank you all for being here. Take care of yourself. You've always been worth it.